First off, I guess early voting starts today here in Florida and in many places. What do you say to those folks who still haven't decided yet, because now it's come down to it these last 2 weeks?
Well, I hear early returns, as the expression goes. I hear we're doing really well. Tremendous numbers of people out there voting, but I hear we're doing really, really well. We're sort of leading, and we'll see what happens. This is my second home. I'm in Florida all the time, and tremendous businesses in Florida employ a lot of people, and they're all very happy. They like Trump. So I think we're going to do very well. But so far it seems that we're doing very well in Florida.
Have you heard from folks about why they haven't decided yes for Donald Trump or for somebody else? And how do you convince them?
I think that's standard, pretty much standard, no matter where you go. Maybe some will wait till the end, but I think we're going to have a good victory in Florida. I think that we're going to do things that nobody else is going to do, namely crooked Hillary, as I respectfully say. We're going to terminate Obamacare. The health care situation is a disaster in this country. We're going to repeal and replace Obamacare. We're going to take care of our vets, which is so important. Our vets are being treated horribly. We're going to rebuild our military. It's being depleted so badly. And so many other things. Save the Second Amendment, Supreme Court justices. We have to always remember that. We're going to be appointing probably 2, but it could be 3 or even 4. And we need Supreme Court justices that are thinking about the Second Amendment, that are thinking about the Constitution, as opposed to others that won't be thinking about the Constitution. So I think I'm very popular with the people in Florida because I represent, not for me, I represent their views.
Yeah. Your view recently, you've talked about feeling like the election process, I think is what you're saying, is rigged. Maybe expand on that and specific to the media component. How would I, as a media member, be part of that rigging of the system?
Well, the system is rigged, and not you, but many of the media. It's so dishonest. The polling is dishonest. We just came out with a big poll where I'm leading. It was the most accurate poll, the IBD. It's the most accurate poll for the last, I guess, 3 cycles, for the last 3. And we're 2 points up, and we're 2 points up in another one, 3 points up in another one. And the media doesn't even want to say that. They don't want to talk about it. But when you get the IBD, and they come out where you're 2 points up, and they were the only ones that predicted almost to the decimal point what happened the last 3 times. That's a big story, but they don't want to talk about it. I think we're doing really well. We're doing fantastically in Ohio. We're doing fantastically in North Carolina and in Iowa. Iowa's been amazing. And I'll tell you, if we win Florida, we win. It's going to be very important.
Why come to St. Augustine? And I know that prior to the rally, you met with some of the first responders. What did you learn from that?
Well, they're fantastic people. These are brave people. These are great people. They keep us safe. And, when we say first responder, we're talking about sheriffs, and we're talking about all the people having to do with the sheriff's department, but we're also talking about the paramedics, who are so important, and the firefighters. And we had a fantastic meeting with some of the folks, pretty large group of folks. And they're very upset about the way they're being treated, and I understand that fully. And they've endorsed me fully. I've been endorsed by virtually every police department and police group, and I've been endorsed largely, conceptually at least, by the military and by the vets. We've had tremendous veteran endorsements because the veterans have been treated so unfairly in this country in terms of their care, in terms of their medical care. So I think that Florida is going to be a great experience.
Let me ask about down ballot races. Marco Rubio, one of your former competitors for president, he's running for Senate, and the other side says, well, it should be held against you that you have endorsed Donald Trump, or you haven't at least said, I don't want anything to do with Donald Trump. What's your message to those other Republicans who have either stood by you or have not stood with you, especially after the Republican National Convention? You said, hey, we're going to find a way to unify the Republican Party.
Well, I do have mostly support. I mean, you have to understand, they mentioned different things, but I have mostly support. We have pretty good support. But I will say this, I think that anybody that endorses Hillary Clinton, I'd say, why are you doing this? I mean, you look at what happened with her emails, you look at her record, you look at the fact that she wants to make health care much more expensive. She wants to expand Obamacare, making it much more expensive, and already it's unaffordable by anybody. Even her husband said that last week. He said, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen, but she wants to make it even worse. You look at her record with Libya and Iraq and any place, I mean, almost any place she's touched. So I think really I'd reverse the question. I'd say anybody that endorses Hillary Clinton should lose the election. I hear Marco's doing very well. We have a very good relationship. I think Marco's going to do well. I think he's going to win. And I think part of the reason he's going to win is because of the fact that we are very much in sync. And we have very good polls in Florida, so does he.
Yeah. You mentioned polls, and let me maybe wrap up there. Some of the polls say that you really have not done well with women, and especially after the comments that were unveiled a few weeks ago, and all these people kind of piling on accusations against you from over the years. What's the difference between what you're hearing and why you say you're doing well with women when these other people say no?
Well, I think people understand those stories were just stories. They were fabricated. They were totally made up, probably by the Democrats. They were probably put out there by the Democrats, but those things didn't happen. Those were events that never happened. And probably also, you know, you read about my rallies where they put violent people in and they paid them $1,500 plus a cell phone. Nobody knew until about 2 weeks ago how that happened. And they put violent people into the rallies, and people thought it was me, and it wasn't me. Probably the same people that did that did these other charges, which turned out, I mean, they're just total lies. And I think most people know that.
Did you expect that to happen so close to the end of the race here?
Well, they did it with McCain, and they did it with others, and you know, they have a history of doing that. Did I expect it? I guess I sort of expect anything. But all I know is we're leading in the polls, and I think we're going to do really well, and I think we're going to have a victory, and we're going to make America great again. We have to make America great again. It's going in the wrong direction. Close to 80% of the people in this country feel that our country is going in the wrong direction. And with some basic common sense, we're going to change that.